University of Toronto's medical school has gotten a reputation for being one of the most challenging yet rewarding medical school programs in the country. Join me in a day in my life as a first-year medical student here to find out how it really is. See how I learn about the field of medicine through doctors, how I study for medical school exams, and most importantly, how I cultivate the most amazing friendships here at U of T. Today, I had quite a packed day, so I woke up at around 7 a.m. I scheduled to shadow a dermatologist at 8:45 a.m. and I'd reviewed some important procedures the day before. I'm currently suffering from a boatload of muscle injuries, punishment for my lack of stretching, so I got that in for the morning. Mornings are all about efficiency in medical school, since classes and exams are pretty early on in the day. That's why I pick out my outfit well in advance of each day. I then headed straight for the washroom, quickly took a shower like I do every morning, and then as soon as I got out of the washroom, I went for breakfast. Fortunately, I made my oats the day before. Ever since I got into medical school, and ever since I started learning about the medical school content, I've been very conscious about making healthy eating choices. So this is my breakfast every single day without fail. I took them out of the fridge, warmed them up, and wolfed them down in about a minute. If you're wondering how I prepare them, I usually add oats, milk, some chia seeds, and peanut butter. Occasionally, I'll add protein powder if I'm hitting the gym. After washing up and filling up my water bottle with my best friend, the Brita filter, which those of you who are living in Toronto will resonate with, I got my jacket because I knew it was going to be a very, very chilly day today. And finally, I headed out at around 8 a.m. I was heading to a dermatology office today, which was fortunately about a 15-minute train ride away from me. And by the way, when I got this place, I lucked out because I didn't even realize the subway station was so close. In medical school, alongside our studying, we are given the opportunity to shadow doctors, which means we get to observe a day or a few hours in their lives. They're meant to give you an idea of which specialty you see yourself doing in the future. But I see them as ways to reinforce the content I learned previously while experiencing fun procedures. I learned about dermatology the week before, so that meant I wasn't completely clueless. I was there for the next 4.5 hours. While I can't show you exactly what went on, I'll give you a rundown. This clinic dealt with anything from common warts to melanomas, which are scary skin cancers that can kill you. I observed how the dermatologist spoke with their patients, which was very focused instead of the general conversation your family doctor has with you. I also saw the types of treatments available for people to get rid of their skin problems. One common one was cryotherapy, which is used to remove warts or common age spots called seborrheic keratoses. Basically, the doctor sprays freezing cold liquid nitrogen on the spot to completely freeze it. I also observed the use of an instrument called a dermatoscope to get a close-up view of what the problematic spot looks like. The way the skin looks is, shocker, really important for how serious the issue is. Dermatology also has some very practical treatments. If something doesn't look great, just cut it off and send it for analysis. By the end of my time at the clinic, I had seen at least 30 cryotherapies, but I gained an appreciation for how much patients actually value their dermatologists. You really make a huge difference in people's lives because the treatments are quick and extremely effective, and people are really appreciative of that. On the way back, I noted down all of my reflections in my journal. I only had about 30 minutes to spare because I had anatomy right after, so I quickly got changed into my scrubs. Before I head off to anatomy, I'm going to show you guys what's inside my dissection kit, which I use every single time I go to anatomy. So first we have a pair of large forceps, which are normally used to handle the tissue. These are blunt scissors, and they're different from the sharper scissors because they don't actually penetrate too much of the flesh. So if you're dealing with a very delicate tissue or maybe a blood vessel or nerve, and you have to, use some dissection to clear off some fat, you can use this. Then we have our trusty probe, which is normally used to hold particular vessels, nerves, or to even scrape away some fat. Here we have the small forceps, which are, as what they say, a small forceps. Here I have a scalpel handle. Normally you put a blade here, and it's normally used to make incisions. These are the sharp scissors, lastly, and they're meant for more precise dissections as well as, if we want to go deeper into the tissue. I'm going to walk you guys quickly through a dissection technique that we use with these blunt scissors. So let's say we want to separate a layer of tissue from a different layer. So for example, maybe the skin from a layer of fat. So what we do is we find the separation between the skin and the fat, for example, and we insert these blunt scissors right in the middle. And if we want to clear the space, what we do is we don't actually cut like you normally do with a scissor. What we do is we insert the full scissor in, and then we expand like that. So what that's supposed to do is it's supposed to not actually cut anything, but instead separate two layers. It's really cool. You might be wondering why I'm packing a plastic bag and not a real bag. The main reason is because I don't want to get the smell of formaldehyde, which is a chemical that is used to preserve the bodies we work with, in any of my actual bags. So here's what my walk looks like. I'm pretty much in the thick of things, surrounded by the major hospitals of Toronto like Mount Sinai, Toronto General, Princess Margaret. I made my way to the Medical Sciences building, where all of our classes take place. On the way there, I was reviewing some of the content for this week's lab, which is based in cardiology. This was the most exciting lab yet, because we were going to observe the heart. Anatomy labs are 3 hours long. Pretty draining, but I didn't mind it for this lab. As I put my things into my locker and headed towards the lab, I met some of my friends. To be quite honest, anatomy labs are pretty intense and tiring, so taking a break from time to time to catch up with them really helps. What we normally do during the lab is go through the material and any dissections depending on our station, and then we quiz each other for some light competition. It's one of the best ways to retain the content. And here's what I learned. In the heart, it has 4 chambers, 2 atria and 2 ventricles, with the valves separating them. The anatomy of the valves is super interesting because they're pretty small but extremely strong, since they prevent the backflow of liters of blood. Okay, so guys, we just finished anatomy, and you guys have probably heard about it through the little monologue I had in the middle. But now I'm heading back home and I'm gonna go get ready for our social. But before that, I'm gonna do some filming for MedBoys, so stay tuned. The time was 3 p.m. and I headed home. I've been listening to a lot of Drake during commutes recently. I've suddenly become a massive fan of his ever since I moved here, and I promise it's not me desperately trying to convince myself I'm a Toronto man now. I changed into something more comfortable and got to making lunch. Today, I was making rosé pasta with a vegetarian sausage. I always measure out everything I eat so that way it's easy to track calories and nutrients. Trust me, this is a game changer if you want to be healthier. I also put on a podcast while cooking, and one that I really recommend is The Hidden Brain. It provides some amazing insights into human behavior. After finishing lunch, I sat down with Nimit to write some scripts and film some MedBoys content. Nimit and I actually roomed together. He's in his 2nd year at U of T Med and is the reason why I was so prepared heading into medical school. If you've made it to this point in the video, by the way, you're a real one. Comment down below what videos you'd like to see in the future. After we finished our filming, it was around 4:50 p.m. and we got ready to go out and have some fun. Alright guys, so we're back at it again with the MedBoys, you know what I mean? So yeah, we're off to play golf, or mini golfing specifically. How are you guys feeling about it?
It's really cold. I just want to get there.
Naman joined us for our very cold venture out to the mini golfing social, where almost every single 1st and 2nd year med student was that evening. There, I got a chance to catch up with some people I hadn't seen in a while and sink a few putts. In fact, all 3 of us were in a competition. Can you comment down below who you think won? Conveniently, there aren't many videos of me getting hole-in-ones, but I promise you it happened. The vibes are really great here, but by 7 p.m., we all headed back home. Now that I've gotten home, I have to study. So we're in a cardiology block, meaning we're going to be reviewing a lot of the cardiovascular system. So today I'm going to be going through a few lectures on the basic physiology of the cardiovascular system, as well as some stuff into heart failure. By the way, ever since I got this 49-inch monitor, it's done wonders for productivity. I locked in for about 3 hours, making my way through the cardiology content. In medical school, we focus on the most common conditions we see in the hospital, and in this case, it's heart failure. Also, the emphasis isn't on the mechanism behind the diseases we learn about, it's more on treatment and management. Recognizing this is not only relevant for passing your exams, but it's also really critical for being a great physician in the future. Now the time's 10:30. I stopped being a medical student and got into bed with a book for about an hour. I'm currently reading Feel Good Productivity by Ali Abdaal, which is a gift, and I'm absolutely loving it. Dr. Ali Abdaal is one of my role models anyway. I'm already starting to notice ways in which I can be more efficient with the work I do on a day-to-day basis. If you want to check this book out, there's a link in the description. After that, I reflected for a few moments on what I read. This is a great way to apply the teachings of a novel to your life. The time is now 11:45, and after washing up, I got into bed for another early day tomorrow. I hope you guys enjoyed a day in my life as a first-year medical student, and if you received a medical school interview, we are hosting a webinar for MMI Prep. Please sign up if you would like to attend using the link in the description. Like and subscribe for more.